What if I told you that one of the wealthiest people you ever met might be the one you least expect? We often picture wealth as a loud declaration, fast cars, sprawling mansions, and designer everything. But what if real, lasting wealth is something much quieter? What if it's invisible, hidden in plain sight, living a life of profound simplicity? This is the story of a man who taught the world that very lesson. A man named Ronald Read. To his neighbors in Brattleboro, Vermont, Ronald Read was just a humble, hard-working guy. For 25 years, he fixed cars at a local gas station. After retiring from that, he didn't slow down. He took a part-time job sweeping floors as a janitor at JCPenney. He was a familiar, quiet presence in his community. You'd see him in his old flannel shirt and worn-out blue jeans, maybe driving his second-hand Toyota Yacht. He lived in a modest house he bought for just $12,000 decades earlier and had lived in his entire life. He was frugal, to say the least. He chopped his own firewood to save on heating and used safety pins to hold his old coat together when it started to fray. By all outside appearances, Ronald Read was just getting by. A man living a simple, unremarkable life. But Ronald was hiding a secret, a very big one. In 2014, Ronald Read passed away at the age of 92, and that's when his secret was finally revealed, sending shockwaves through his small town and eventually the entire country. This quiet, unassuming janitor, the man who patched his own clothes, was a millionaire. Not just a millionaire, he had amassed a fortune of nearly $8 million. No one saw it coming. Not his friends, not his family, not the people he'd greeted every day for decades. His stepkids were stunned, saying they had no idea he was so successful. So how did he do it? There was no lottery win, no secret inheritance. The answer was beautifully simple and profoundly powerful. For decades, Ronald Read lived far below his means. He saved every penny he could from his modest paychecks. But he didn't just stuff it under the mattress. He became a self-taught, disciplined investor. He'd spend his free time at the local library, not reading fiction, but poring over the Wall Street Journal and company reports. He patiently and consistently invested his savings into solid, dividend-paying blue-chip stocks. Companies like Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, and JP Chase. He wasn't a trader trying to time the market. He was an owner. He'd buy good companies and hold them for the long run, letting his dividends reinvest and compound year after year, decade after decade. When his will was read, the final, incredible chapter of his story was written. Ronald Read, the janitor, left $2 million to his stepchildren. But the rest, the bulk of his fortuna, staggering $6 million, he bequeathed to his local hospital. And the very library where he had spent countless hours learning the secrets of the market, he gave back to the community that had been his home in a final act of generosity that no one could have ever predicted. Ronald Read's story is more than just a fascinating tale of a secret millionaire. It's a powerful lesson in what wealth truly is. We live in a culture that glorifies spending. Wealth is often portrayed as what you can buy: the luxury car in the driveway, the watch on your wrist. But Ronald taught us that true wealth is not what you spend, it's what you don't see. It's the money you save and invest, the assets you accumulate quietly, year after year. The car he drove didn't reflect his net worth. The clothes he wore didn't signal his financial success. His wealth was invisible. It was in his brokerage account, growing silently in the background, a testament to decades of discipline. It was financial freedom, not financial display. This brings us to a deeper, more spiritual wisdom. In a world obsessed with instant gratification and outward appearances, Ronald Read embodied the virtues of humility and patience. His life was a quiet rebellion against the modern mantra of more, now. He understood that a rich life has very little to do with material possessions. It's about security, peace of mind, and the freedom that comes from not needing to impress anyone. He separated his ego from his finances. He didn't need a fancy car to feel successful. His success was his independence. He didn't need to announce his wealth. His wealth was his own quiet confidence. This is the wisdom of long-term thinking. While so many of us chase short-term highs, the next purchase, the next upgrade, he played the long game. He understood that true, lasting security isn't built in a day. It's the result of a slow, steady, and patient process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And in the end, his patience paid off, not just for him, but for his entire community. So, what are the practical lessons we can take from the life of this janitor millionaire? It's not about being as frugal as Ronald Reid, using safety pins on your coat. It's about adopting his mindset. First, and most importantly, live below your means. This is the absolute cornerstone of building wealth. It doesn't matter if you're a janitor or a CEO. If you spend more than you earn, you will always be in debt. If you spend less, you create a surplus, and that surplus is the seed of your financial future. It's a simple equation, but it's the one that matters most. Second, invest consistently, no matter how small you start. Ronald Reid wasn't investing huge lump sums. He was investing what he could, regularly, over a very long time. This is the magic of compounding. Even small amounts of money, invested consistently, can grow into a fortune over decades. You don't need a six-figure salary to start investing. You just need to start. Third, be patient. Wealth is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is a slow, methodical process. There will be market downturns, there will be times of uncertainty, and there will be temptations to pull your money out. Ronald Reid held his stocks through numerous market crashes and recessions. He trusted the process and stayed the course. Patience is your greatest ally in the world of investing. And finally, value humility. Separate your self-worth from your net worth. The need to show off is a tax on your financial future. Every dollar you spend to impress someone else is a dollar you can invest for your own freedom. Ronald Reid had the financial freedom to do anything he wanted, but what he wanted was a simple, quiet life. His humility was his superpower. In the end, Ronald Reid's story challenges our very definition of success. It reminds us that success isn't loud. It's not a boast or a display. It's the quiet confidence of a life well lived, a future secured, and the freedom to be generous. It teaches us a timeless truth that feels more relevant today than ever before. The wealthiest people aren't those who have the most, but those who need the least. Thank you for watching.